It's amazing once you realize what exercise can do for you. Welcome to the Risen Fallen Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Henriksen. And if you're brand new to this show, what you can expect is open and authentic conversations about things like mental health and self-development and how to get your life moving in the right track, moving in the right direction, and moving in a direction where you feel like you're confident that you're getting closer and closer to the life that you want to live. Whether you're, maybe in a tough spot right now, or you understand that, hey, this isn't where I want to be, then just understanding that, I might not be in the place I want to be, but I'm moving more towards that every single day. And if you are not new to this show, if you're a returning listener or returning viewer, whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast platform, I just wanted to take this time to thank you for being you and for supporting this show and supporting this journey and supporting this movement. And whether you're brand new to this podcast or not, I just wanted to say that you are the reason that I do what I do. And so with all that being said, I just want to send you guys a little reminder as well. If you're listening to this on a podcast platform, then make sure you rate it 5 stars. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave a little review for your boy. And if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. All of those things help boost me in the algorithm and get this message out for the people that need to hear it the most. With all that being said, welcome to the show. Welcome to Thursday. Happy Thursday morning. It's Thursday morning today. If you listen to the podcast version of this, you know that it drops in the morning. Happy Thursday morning. It's the Friday to Friday, baby. We're grinding it through this week. If you're watching this, then it's Thursday evening, and we made it through one more day. We're closer to Friday, and we're closer to getting through this week. This week was pretty solid. We had Easter starting off this week. We had Easter, so I hope you guys got to chill out and, spend some time with your friends and family members and the people that you love, and just spend some time relaxing, recovering. Before that happened, I recorded this, and so this is, right now it's Saturday evening as I record this. I'm literally about to go to bed. I'm sitting here with a little cup of tea, just chilling out, and I wanted to sit down and record a little something for your ear, for you to listen to, and for you to kind of set the tone heading into the weekend, and just kind of set the tone for your life. Anyways, today, Saturday morning, we woke up and we went on a little hike with the Risen Fallen group. We're back at the hikes. The weather's starting to get a little bit better, but it's not the best yet. We had a little bit of rain today, but you know what? In my opinion, rain is a good thing. So we got up, we went over to Belcarra. If you guys know the area, if you're in Vancouver, then we went out there and we went on a little hike around that area, down to the water and then back up after. And it was amazing. It was a blessing. It was raining. It was a little bit wet out. It was a little bit muddy out. But, I think obviously if you've listened to this podcast before, then you know the importance of getting out and, getting outside of your comfort zone and just being a little bit cold, being a little bit, in the elements is good for you. And so we went out there. We went on a little hike, which was amazing. We had some good conversations. It was just a small group of us. There was like 4 of us, and we just went out there and braved the weather. Some people were a little bit busy. Some people were working this morning, and some people were just not down to deal with the rain. But there's a cat hair on here. But we were. So we went out for a hike, and it was amazing, and then came back here and then did a little bit of a stretch, took a nap, and then went out to Teddy's parents' place, had some good eats, and then we saw my parents, and now we're just chilling out before bed. And I just wanted to come on here and talk about, how the hike or all, physical exercise can just be therapy for us sometimes, especially if you do it in a group setting. I know that when I was a member in a gym and I was doing my bodybuilding exercises, there was some real, it's funny to say it like this, but there was some real peaceful moments that I had in the gym. Knowing that I'm surrounded by a bunch of people that even if I'm not talking to them, even if I'm not, friends with them per se, I'm surrounded by a bunch of people that kind of probably deal with similar problems that I deal with. And we're just working hard and just trying to improve ourselves. And we're all walking kind of a similar journey that way, even though we're maybe at different points within that journey. Just knowing that I wasn't alone in that grind, in that, phase of my life. I was trying to think of a better word. In that phase of my life, maybe we're in different places. And, we're all just kind of grinding towards the same thing, even though we're in different points of that journey. And, the hike is kind of a beautiful thing as well, because if you can go on a hike with a group of people, I've always said this as well, there's something beautiful about kind of just, moving. When you're moving around and you're just kind of walking with people and you start talking, it creates kind of a cool, vulnerable, space for you to be able to open up and talk about some of the issues that you're dealing with, some of the things that you're doing in your life, when you're just kind of walking and moving and sweating with people and, you're not really looking at someone, you're not really making eye contact, you're just sharing the space, you're just sharing, Mother Nature with them. And it kind of creates, because some people have a little bit of a tough time opening up to people when they're looking at them, and you kind of think like, oh, I have to see their reaction to what I'm saying, or I have to think about, how they're going to feel. But when you're not looking at them and you're just kind of walking and you're looking around, you're looking at the trees, or you're looking forward on the path that you're walking, it kind of creates a cool vibe for you to be able to open up and talk about some of these things going on in your life. So I do recommend, just going out and exercising with some people, because exercise can be like therapy. I know definitely, some of the forms of exercise I've participated in over the years have definitely changed, but the aspects of them that I love stay the same. And I think that that's why exercise is so beautiful, because there's so many different, ways to go about this, that you can just find whatever works for you and reap the benefits, mentally and physically. Because obviously we know about the physical benefits of exercise. We know about the dopamine boost with the serotonin boost, the way that it helps your other hormones. It can help, burn some energy so that when you go to bed at night, you'll actually get a restful sleep. You'll be tired enough to get a restful sleep. You're going to be burning calories, you're going to be gaining muscle, you're going to be losing body fat, you're going to be feeling more confident. There's tons of different physical aspects of why exercise is beneficial for you. But obviously, with this being a mental health self-development podcast, it would be a little bit silly for me to just talk about all of those physical benefits without mentioning the mental benefits, and why I feel like it's so therapeutic to have a routine based around exercise. And for those of you that know me and know about my own life, my own routine, you know that I exercise every single day, no matter what. I'm doing some form of exercise. I grew up playing rugby, and then in my late teens, early 20s, I was doing some more bodybuilding type stuff. I played hockey growing up. I played many different team sports. It was just something that I always had present in my life. I got into running, I got into biking, and then in the last few years, I've been kind of more doing, martial arts and some jiu-jitsu training. And so that's kind of what my exercise looks like now. Monday to Friday, I'm in the gym after work, and I'm training jiu-jitsu. And then on the weekends, I'm running and doing yoga. And obviously the hikes as well with the Risen Fallen group. And, through all the team sports I've played, and I'll even say that jiu-jitsu is almost like a team sport in a way, because even though you're not competing with a team, when you do actually compete, it is just you and your opponent. There's no one else to rely on. There's no one else that's going to be able to help push you through a match. It's just going to be you and your opponent, and your skills, your abilities and your perseverance mentally and physically are the only things that are going to carry you towards victory. For the most part, the majority of your time spent training in martial arts or, in any other team sport is going to be surrounded by other people. When you go to the gym and you go and train, you're training with what you'd consider to be your teammates. You all train out of the same gym. You represent a brand. You represent one team, and you represent your gym. And when you train together, you train as teammates. You're not beating each other up to the point where you can't train the next day. You're taking it. You're not taking it easy, but you're not killing those guys either. You're training in a way that you are going to be developing and learning how to attack better, and then you're learning how to counter those attacks and defend those attacks, if you're training smart. And when you're doing this, or you're playing any team sport. I grew up playing rugby and hockey. When you're doing this and you're playing any team sport, you're building a community. You're building trust. You're building responsibility. You're building accountability. But you're also building friendship. You're also building relationships with these people around you as well. Because, every single day when you see these people, you'll have the people that you have like the small talk with. Hey, how's your day going? Good. Oh, wow, crazy weather we had. Yeah, absolutely. You have all that small talk. But you'll also be able to develop relationships and trust with people that, you never would have met outside of these things as well. You'll be able to talk about some of the things going on in your life, some of the losses that you've faced, whether that's a loved one, a family member, a friend, a girlfriend, a relationship. Maybe some struggles at work, maybe some issues that you're dealing with your body or your mind state. And there's just something about being able to, get involved in an area where you have these types of relationships where you can have these conversations with people, but you also are facilitating, an hour a day, maybe longer, maybe a bit shorter, where those things are just put to bed. Those things are meant to be quiet because you're focusing on the task at hand. Whatever your sport is, whether you're playing rugby, whether you're playing hockey, whether you're playing tennis, maybe you're going swimming, maybe you're doing a martial art, maybe you're doing jiu-jitsu, maybe you're doing kickboxing or anything else under the sun. It forces you to be present in that moment and to focus on solely improving yourself, improving those around you, and focusing on exactly what it is you're doing in that moment. The same thing goes for a hike as well. It forces you to pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to where you're stepping, where you've been so you can find your way back. And when you're, helped or aided in a way, because there's ways to be present or mindful of your surroundings when you're not doing these things. But so many people nowadays, because of the way that we live our lives with technology, with smartphones, with computers, like the ones I have behind me, with the gaming consoles that we have, Nintendo Switch, PlayStations, Xboxes, with social media, with Netflix, with all of these things that we can use as distractions to forget about the problems that we have, to distract ourselves and to separate ourselves from the issues that we're dealing with or the thoughts that we may have. We're living in kind of a world of distraction. So many of us struggle with focusing on being present. You can do some meditations, you can do some guided meditations maybe, or some mindfulness training or some journaling or reading or anything like that. But so many of us struggle with being able to get ourselves in that mind state. And maybe you're like that because I've been like that many times in my life. Finding a way of exercising, whatever works for you, is a helpful way to be able to force yourself, your mind and your body simultaneously, to be present in the moment. And I feel like that's a skill that so many of us lack nowadays. And it's a way to do it. Exercising, obviously, is what I'm talking about, is a way to force your brain and your body to be present. That's healthy. It's not a distraction. It's a way to do it in a healthy way that not only makes yourself better, but makes other people better as well. And so this is my challenge for you for this weekend. Leading into this weekend, I wanted to encourage you to find a way to socially exercise. To be able to do it with another person, at least one other person. And, while you're doing that exercise, either before, during, or after, just spark up a conversation and ask them how they're doing and how their life is going. And that's my challenge for you this weekend. I just quickly want to share a little quote with you guys, and then we're going to get on our way. But before we do that here, I'm going to take a little sip of my tea, just take a little breather here. And if you got a coffee or a tea or anything in front of you, then we can take a sip of that together. And if you don't have anything in front of you to take a sip of, take this time to just take a breath and focus yourself and just be present in the moment and think about, where you are right now physically, but also where you are in your life, and just take a breath and understand where you are and where you want to be and what the difference between those two things are. Okay, so just take a second right now. Got some good tea I'm sipping on right now as I get ready for bed. Just as nature takes every obstacle, every impediment, and works around it, turns it to its purposes, and incorporates it into itself, so too can a rational being turn a setback into a raw material and use it to achieve its own goal. And that's from Marcus Aurelius Meditations. And I think that quote is so powerful because a lot of us, especially when we think about exercise, when we think about, starting a routine or starting a new sport, a new martial art, a new exercise, anything, a new exercise routine, we want to think about all the reasons why we can't, whether it's our schedule, our current schedule, some injuries that we deal with, something that we faced in the past, some sort of impediment, some sort of challenge that we're facing, a valid or a non-valid reason why we can't start doing whatever it is we're thinking that we should be doing. And I think that he calls it a rational being. I think that a person who has some sort of self-responsibility looks at that setback that we have, that reason that is holding us back, and turns it into an advantage somehow. If you don't have a lot of time, finding a way to incorporate something that you already do and making it more active. If you don't have the time because you're working all day, maybe incorporating some sort of a walk or a run into what you do. If you work in an office, maybe, every phone call you finish, you just walk a lap around the office. Maybe, when I used to work in sales, I used to put headphones in I'd connect to my phone, and I would pace in my office as I would make my phone calls. There's other ways that you can kind of, incorporate, maybe the people that you work with into your exercise routine. Maybe you want to start a rec basketball team, or you want to start, maybe doing, I know like one of my buddies in Alberta, Mike, he was doing like a push-up challenge with the other mechanics in the shop that he works with, for push-up, like daily push-ups. If you're running short on time, maybe incorporating some sort of a HIIT workout, a high intensity interval, like a shorter workout that's higher intensity. Maybe if you need to relax more, if you're feeling like, hey, I've got these injuries that I'm nursing, that I'm trying to get myself back in order, maybe that's part of your exercise routine. Maybe your exercise routine is more focused around recovery and doing yoga or going swimming or doing something like that. And you're actually going to be improving your physical state. Maybe you deal with an injury right now, some back pain, some neck pain, some hip pain, whatever, knee pain. And your exercise routine is actually going to be just rehabbing whatever injury you have. If you deal with anger issues, if you feel like, hey, I don't get along with other people, I need to deal with my anger issues, then probably a martial art or doing some sort of physical activity like that exerts that those very potent emotions to be able to help you channel them in more productive ways. The setbacks that we deal with are the things that we need to lean into the most. And so with that being said, I'm going to leave you with that, something to think about, something to ponder on, and set the tone for your weekend. And with that, I will check you all on Monday. If you want to come out for some of the hikes, if you want to come out and do some exercise with us, if you're in the Vancouver area, reach out to me on Instagram @RisenFallen, and I can link up with you there, and I can let you know about the future hikes that we're going to be going on as well. If you want to support the cause, if you want to help fund, some of the times that we go for coffee, some of the times we go for lunch, or some of the other times where we do something that costs money, like not like a hike, but, during the winter we were going skating. We got plans to go to maybe Science World or maybe do some rock climbing or do something else that's fun. Those things are funded by the sales of our merchandise. So if you want to cop a hoodie, cop a tee, you can do so at risenfallen.com. But other than that, I will check in with you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend. Much love and peace out. I love you all. Bye.
Just